Joining me now to go over the week's top stories is media writer for The Australian, Sophie Elsworth. Sophie, it's been interesting to see some of the media bend over backwards to try to defend the AG there. I mean, his behaviour was obviously not okay. He's apologised. But have a look at The Guardian's Catherine Murphy here, who called Dreyfus's tantrum utterly reasonable. She also wrote Dreyfus was right to point out responsible governments should not instruct officials to act unlawfully. Thank God someone is prepared to make this point. That really wasn't the point of why people were upset, but we can always rely on The Guardian for unintended comedy.
Oh, look, great to be here with you, Rita, tonight. Look, I thought this was very typical of The Guardian. We would expect them to come out and support a Labor minister or the Labor Attorney General in Mark Dreyfus. Look, I'm all up for a bit of robust conversation at press conferences. I'm not against that, Rita. I think that comes with the job at task. But I think it's got to be respectful. And I think the way Mr Dreyfus conducted himself the other day was pretty out of line. I thought he was, you know, the hand gestures were pretty they came across quite aggressive. Look, just say you're sorry and we all move on. And I think if this was a coalition minister behaving like this, Rita, as you said, this would have been a very different affair. And I'm sure the leftist media would have come out criticising him.
Oh, I remember all sorts of outrage because I think Tony Abbott, not in a hostile manner, said, calm down. I think it was Bridie. I think that was the journalist. And, you know, calm down Bridie was trending. There were all these pieces outraged about how dare he say calm down to a female reporter. I mean, if he was pointing his fingers and telling them to, you know, not interrupt and being aggressive, oh my gosh, we would have had just, you know, days of front page outrage. Now let's move along to this climate cult, I call them, activists who've caused more traffic chaos today during peak hour in Melbourne. The Extinction Rebellion members gathered on the Montague Street off-ramp of the West Gate Bridge Freeway. This is the third day of disruptions and more is planned for tomorrow. Sophie, let's hear from one of these eco-warriors.
You were lying on the road. This is the West Gate off-ramp, incredibly busy morning. You've refused to move and you're being arrested right now.
That's right, because we're about disruption. We're about waking people up to what's happening in our society. We're worried about Labor not really being fair dinkum about reducing the climate problem.
And you're being arrested right now. These officers are taking your details. Yes. You're okay with that?
Yes, I'm very. I see that we have to do this in order to try and shake the community, shake the government to stop digging up.
Oh, so if he went on and on and on, I mean, if it's an early lefties losing it content right there, but the sense of entitlement these eco-warriors have to interrupt people going to work during peak hour, going to appointments, people who've got lives to lead and jobs to fulfil, and they've got to deal with this day after day.
Well, Rita, I will say this. I think it's a great thing in this country that we can protest. We can voice our views. I'm all for that. I think most of us would, if not all of us are for that. But when it comes to disrupting people's daily duties, people going to work, taking their kids to school, hospital, medical appointments, that is not okay. This is nothing short of disgraceful. And it was good to see the police there dishing out fines. But when the media goes down there, interviews them, they get the publicity they want, we're talking about it now. This is exactly what they want, Rita. But I am so against this disruption that they continue to cause. But it seems like they get a slap on the wrist and it's not enough to deter them.
Now, let's talk about Adam Bandt. He was seen taking selfies and mingling with influencers at the TikTok Awards, Australian TikTok Awards. Let's have a look. Oh, dear me. Imagine being excited to see Adam Bandt. What is wrong with these people? But, Soph, On a more important note, isn't it appropriate to have the Greens leader there, given TikTok is banned on government devices?
Well, I don't think the Greens would really care about that, Rita. Look, Adam Bandt was obviously loving the moment. We had an ABC journalist there, Tony Armstrong, cozying up to him. That's not really a surprise to see that from the ABC. But I think Adam Bandt should be focusing on reuniting his party that seems to have quite a few issues. They've got Lydia Thorpe always criticising them, the former Green senator. So I think they've got bigger problems to worry about than to be seen at a TikTok event trying to get selfies with Abby Chatfield and Tony Armstrong.
Yes, very interesting company he's keeping there. Of course, Tony Armstrong signed that disgraceful open letter calling for news organisations to essentially treat Israeli authorities and Hamas the same when judging the merit of news stories and trying to corroborate stories. And I think Abby Chatfield's also banned Zionist from her programs. I doubt she knows what a Zionist is. But Sophie, before you go, I was very interested to see this story on a summer heat wave about to hit New South Wales. We've got certain scientists declaring this is going to be the hottest year on record, the hottest summer on record. Parts of the state are going to hit 40 degrees. But I like the reaction of this man.
It's Australia. It's just not surprising that it's going to be 40 degrees in December. If it was June, it'd be a shock, I suppose.
He's 100% right. It's Australia, it's summer. 40 degrees is not something to be particularly alarmed about, is it, Sophie?
Rita, look, I'd love to see a grab like that on the mainstream commercial radio, commercial television stations on the news or on the ABC. I don't know if they'd run a clip like that, Rita.
Well, that is, I think, the opinion of most sane people when they hear all this catastrophist news about a heat wave in summer. It's Australia, it's summer. If it's not hot, there's a problem. Goodness me. Sophie Elsworth, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time this evening.